This week, we took advantage of a south wind and made our way down the Strait of Georgia to Teakerne for 2 nights. After that, we will spend the rest of the weekend in Dent Island Lodge with my grandparents. Let's get started! I'm Tanner Sparling. I am 10 years old, and during the school year I live in Evergreen, Colorado. My family owns a wooden sailboat named Simra, built in 1941 and is currently moored in a marina on Vancouver Island, British Columbia. That's in Canada! Every year, my family sets sail during summertime to explore the wild places in the Pacific Northwest. My parents have been sailing since they got married, and we bought Simra when I was 3, so I have been sailing boats for as long as I can remember. When I'm not sailing Simra in the PNW, you might find me on an Opti, a 420, or our Melgus 15. This is my dad, Jonathan, and this is my mom, Gretchen. They have challenged me to learn more about sailing as I get older, and it's a lot of fun. This channel will document the stories of our adventures, from the beautiful scenery, caring for our boat, and more. Join us on Sailing Simra. We sailed faster than we would usually motor, and the wind was just a little off the stern, so we made great time and traveled exactly the direction we needed to go with just a few drives. It was probably the best day of sailing all summer. Rounding into Desolation Sound, we made it to Teakerne earlier than we thought, but it was still a long day.
Surfing.
We have a favorite spot we like to anchor near the waterfall, but it's always a bit difficult to anchor since the shoreline comes up so fast. We put out all of our chain and backed into the shore. Once the anchor catches, we tie up to shore, and this year we were tied pretty close, so we had a solid hook. The arm has an awesome waterfall that you can hear from the boat, so anchoring here is challenging but worth it.
As you can see over here, we are very close to shore. You can hear the water lapping against the rocks. The stern tide that you can see off in the distance used to be underwater, so the water's dropped about 12 feet, maybe still has a couple more feet to go before low tide. And so we've been taking some chain up. We're in a very steep, rocky anchorage, so we probably barely have 2-to-1 scope. Of course, we're pulling that anchor up a cliff basically under us, so it's pretty difficult for it to be pulled up that cliff, but it's holding well, and so we're taking some anchor rode out as needed to keep us basically as close to shore as we're comfortable with as much scope as we can have.
The next evening, we had a boat try to anchor next to us, and they dragged anchor and had to depart in a hurry during dinner as the tide increased their scope.
What are the 3 sails that are there?
This is the staysail here. It goes to a little bit higher than mid-mast.
See it up there?
This is the drifter, which is similar to a Code Zero, right?
Yep. What makes it similar?
Well, the drum is a Code Zero furler,
So we can control the furling with the 2 lines that come out of it. One's furl in, one's furl out. For a light air sail, that's extremely handy when you're just trying to furl it up like it is now. So
it's also a very fast sail.
It is fast.
One of our faster ones.
Because it's big and light, so it takes the wind really well. And it's also made out of Teakerne, so we can fly it in heavy winds. Basically, as comfortable as we are, that sail can handle it. Usually we douse that sail in about 10 knots. Unless we're going downwind, we could probably fly it a little bit more. But 3 or 4 knots, that sail is fantastic. Yep. What's the next one?
This Genoa, which goes to the very top of the mast and has the same furler as the staysail.
So our staysail is actually quite huge. In fact, we find ourselves sailing with the staysail alone very often. So it has a very robust furler, just like the Genoa. What's the difference with the staysail and the Genoa?
Well, the Genoa goes to the very top of the mast and is usually only in a, well, it's in both putter
And a sloop. we add the staysail in a cutter, right? The Genoa goes all the way to the top of the mast, like you said, and also goes further aft than the mast. So it's the biggest sail. The staysail is just a little bit smaller.
There was a lot of wind while we were in Teakerne, but the weather was sunny. So it was a nice down day when we stayed in one spot, which is always a treat. The bioluminescence was really strong, which was super cool. We read and supported and enjoyed the scenery. We even made my favorite tuna poke bowls for dinner. The next morning we set off north to Dent Island, which is where I will spend my last 2 nights on simmer this summer before heading back to Colorado with my grandparents. My parents will then sail the boat back south to our slip in Sydney. Dent is bustling with activity during the slack tide windows. People most often come to Dent by boat and stay in the Great Marina, but there are also float planes coming and going. A group even landed in a helicopter for a fishing tour. The service here is top-notch. My grandparents, Brent and Ann, arrived at Dent the day before us by float plane. We actually saw them fly past us in Teakerne. During their stay, they caught some huge salmon. Annie caught one so big she had to release it. We hiked on the island, enjoyed some fantastic meals together, but a really memorable activity is getting a jet boat. The jet boat is called the Rapids Runner 2 and has almost no draft, and so is able to explore the rapids safely. It's a relaxing wildlife tour. Mixed with some exciting rapids moments with some serious speed. The meals here at Dent have been a treat, and they take great care of all the details. I like to get the dungy crab, and it is cool that they keep them in a trap right out on the dock. I'll have to say I'm looking forward to sleeping in a bed again. I spent 31 nights on my hammock under the boom in the last 36 days, and although I love it, I am looking forward to being able to stretch out. I'm headed back to Colorado now to get a ride down Vancouver in a float plane. I haven't been on a float plane for years, so I'm pretty excited about that. Been a great summer on board Simmer, exploring the coastal waters of British Columbia. This is my last weekly post, but I will keep posting every couple weeks. Thanks for tuning in!